International is signing an inverted winger who behaves completely differently from the inverted wingers we're used to seeing.
That's right. He's not a true inverted winger, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you recent footage of this guy playing soccer and analyze it in a way that by the time you finish this video, you'll know this player as if he'd already been part of your team for a long time.
You'll know exactly what to expect. Shall we go?
The inverted winger, as all of you know, is the guy who operates here on the right flank, but he's left-footed, not right-footed.
So the natural instinct of this player is to cut inside towards his stronger foot and go into that central corridor where it's a bit more crowded, there are more defenders, and the players are closer to each other.
For example, in a 4-4-2, when the team is defending, if you notice, most of the players are in the central corridor. See? 60% of the team is in that central corridor.
So when the player has the instinct to cut to his stronger foot coming into this corridor, usually he's a guy who's really good at short passes, linking up with teammates, playing 1-2s, playing first-time passes all the time.
Until he finds a good opportunity, gets into a good position to finish with his stronger foot, since he's coming from the outside in. NICLAS Eliasson. I'll call him that. We all agreed here, just to pretend I'm saying it right.
He plays on the right wing, yes. He's left-footed, yes.
But his natural instinct is completely different. Looking at his heat map, you can see how he stays right here, really close to the sideline, and goes to the end line to cross with his weaker foot. With his right foot, this area here, which theoretically is where you have 1-2s, combinations, short dribbles, you can see he steps in there very little, only once in a while. When you see this light blue, it means very little presence. Green is also pretty low. Yellow means he's there a bit more, and red is where he is all the time. If I look at this heat map here for the right winger, in my mind, I'm sure this guy is right-footed. He avoids this crowded area here, full of people, with short passes and short dribbles. He stays away from that.
This behavior makes him much more of an assist guy than someone who dribbles past two and finishes for a goal. His characteristics are shown here, look, in this radar chart.
Anyone who subscribed here to Football Maximo already knows this chart, but for those who aren't, I'll explain.
This red here is the league average for players who play in the same position or a very similar position to NICLAS, and the blue is him. It's NICLAS.
If you look closely, one thing he really stands out in is here. Look, passes leading to shots, passes for finishing. See how he's way above the league average for players who make passes leading to shots.
Compared to the other forwards in the same league, you see, and chances created, same thing, considerably above average compared to other guys who play in the same position as him.
Without cutting inside and shooting, he always stays here, look, really close to the sideline, really.
And the rest of the team is the one who will play that role of bunching up and playing short passes through the middle if it's interesting to do that in the play. Look how his teammate here, see, already tells him, look, let me stay there. See, his teammate already saw that there's space there and said, let me stay here and you go. See, look at the gesture he makes with his hand, you go. Ball in the middle. While NICLAS is left here with space, he uses his weak foot to set up a dangerous chance. It's interesting that it seems his strong foot is the right one. Look, he already asked for the ball near the end line, receives it in space, and makes another dangerous cross. His teammate messed up the control and didn't shoot very well. If you look at his off-the-ball movement at the start of this play here, just look, man, this first movement here already feels a little off to me. See? His teammate number 18 is going over to the sideline. Meanwhile, NICLAS is also going over to the sideline. Normally, these players kind of make an X, you know? While one goes to the sideline, the other comes to the center. While the other comes to the center, comes to the side. And they always have to make this coordinated movement, see? It's the most natural thing in the world.
In NICLAS's case here, apparently, his action is like this. The lane is totally his.
If the other player went to the side lane, man, at some point they even line up. In the same lane, 3 players, you know? That's really crazy. Later on in the play, you see that even when he's about to form the triangle, look at NICLAS going to stick to the sideline, see? He doesn't come down here to the middle. His teammate who notices, his teammate who knows, no, I'm the one who goes into the middle. That crowded space over there isn't NICLAS's. And then he moves forward, cutting inside. Man, NICLAS is almost off the field here. He's way too wide, look. Everyone's crowded together, exactly NICLAS's nightmare, which he always tries to avoid, and that movement allowed him to have a bit more space over there. He got the ball. This time he crossed with his left foot. It didn't go through until finally that moment came in the play when he got it onto his right foot and really created a dangerous goal chance that his teammate didn't finish. This play here is his specialty, look. He's this little guy here. He was in the wall. His team moves forward, barely clears the ball from danger, and look how the defenders are more concentrated on the other side. Here on this side, with this space, without any crowding, it's a dream for him.
That's what he prefers.
No, but here it's easy too. Just grab it and run. All right, man. Put Alan Patrick here. Put Alan Patrick to receive this ball. Run, push forward, and make this cross here for the goal. No one doubts that Alan Patrick can make this cross masterfully.
But all of this, man, it's not like this was easy.
There was space with no one around. Then it's easy, man. It's a player style. There are players who can only sprint for 20 meters, 50 meters. There are players who are slow in the first 20 or 15 meters, but then over time, they pick up speed and sprint for 40 meters and no one can catch them.
This NICLAS is a guy who drives forward well over long distances. Just like here, he ran a lot.
He crossed the entire field here and also over medium distances. I picked these common plays from the player to show here because it's in the regular plays where the guy's characteristics really show. You know those highlight videos? Go ahead. Yeah, skills and goals by NICLAS, I don't know. And then you see a bunch of plays from the guy, you think, wow, my team is signing this dude. But actually you can't even have any idea how he's actually gonna play.
Yeah, so this video here is perfect for you to send to the WhatsApp group and say, hey guys,
now we really know what to expect from this guy at Inter. Because an analysis of his characteristics, like the one we do, there just isn't another one like it. Subscribe to the channel, man. You can really get to know the player before he even plays for your team. Check out something else that caught my attention about him. Let's tweak this chart a little. And let's show his tackles here, his off the ball side a little bit. The number of defensive duels he gets into is much lower than the other forwards in the league. But the percentage of those duels he wins, man, he's the one who wins the most. He's right at the top there, see? He's the one setting the maximum, you get it? Among the forwards. So the few defensive duels he has, he wins the vast majority, way more than the rest of the forwards. And the same thing happens with tackles, look. The number of tackles is well below the league average, but the successful tackles are right at the top, way up there. In other words, the few duels he has without the ball, he wins most of them. And here we can also see that none of them are in the attacking half, see? The number of ball recoveries in the attacking half is way below average compared to other forwards. And loose ball recoveries, he's also well above average compared to other forwards. What do I think this means? That he's a guy who positions himself well and is that kind of winger who really behaves like a fullback. He tracks back a lot, follows the fullback all the way back here, you know? He has the stamina to go up and down the field a lot and take advantage of this space and his long strides. Let's take a look. This play here is interesting, look. He's this guy right here, so keep an eye on him.
When the ball goes wide for a cross there, which is pretty much the situation that this number 11 from the opposing team is in, that's the situation he finds himself in a lot, you know?
So he kind of has the awareness, the read that the other guy has, or should have. So when the ball goes over there, notice how he already looks at the far side channel. Look, check it out. He already took a look over there. He's already mapped that part of the field. And since he's the guy who attacks well on the right, he knows the scenario that number 11 is in, and he can really anticipate, reads the play, and intercepts the pass. And more than just intercepting, this is something that few people notice and few people understand the real value of it.
Man, he destroys the opponent's play, and at the same time, with the same touch, he starts a counterattack for his team.
Look at the counterattack he sets up with just one touch. But his teammate here messed up. Look, he controlled the ball with his butt and left it behind. But his reading of the game here, look, he observed, mapped out the field, and boom, he broke it up while already starting the counterattack. Man, he did really well here. And again, considering this is a regular play, considering this is his usual behavior, it's not a highlight video. Another thing here, this also caught my attention. Look, here he has a somewhat counterintuitive behavior, right? Because he gives the guy space to advance. Look at the path he takes while running. See, he's giving the guy space to advance. Instead of stopping him and, I don't know, forcing the guy to retreat, forcing him back to the goalkeeper. Why? Because here, for sure, he already realized that this guy is covering for him really well, and by letting the guy advance, he's actually using the sideline as his teammate for marking, you know? He's making the sideline act as an extra defender. So he corners the guy, makes him advance to a point where he can't turn back anymore, keeps cornering him, and there you go, he gets the ball. Ball for his team. So, this awareness he has when defending is something not every winger has, you know? In this play here, man, a lot of wingers would just mark this passing lane. Look at the guy asking for the ball. Ball to his feet over there, look. But NICLAS, he knows that the space in the back is actually the most dangerous space, even if the opponent is somewhere else. So you see that he takes a step to the side, but he does it while avoiding, look, it's a very short step because he still wants to mark that path so the ball doesn't get to the back. He wasn't drawn to the most obvious passing lane, and he's able to stretch his leg, disrupt the pass, and the ball goes back to his team again. This reading when he's defending in this position really explains how he makes tackles, recovers loose balls, and wins defensive duels. How he has good numbers in this, even though he doesn't get into that many physical battles. What rarely happens is this kind of thing here. Look, it's his team in the area where he attacks, fighting for the ball. The ball is up for grabs, and when the guy goes to clear it forward, he comes in and steals the ball from the guy like that. Slicker, quicker. He went there, stuck his leg in, and recovered the ball here high up the pitch. This kind of direct clash doesn't happen much and even less high up the pitch, right? But it's important to have a play like this so we don't generalize and think the guy never does this in his life. No, man, the guy is a professional player, but this isn't that common in his daily routine.
And this thing here, this really caught my attention. Look, talking about dribbling, you see here that he stopped facing the guy, pushed the ball forward, and immediately crossed it with his weaker foot. That's the thing he does the most.
If we look at his radar chart here, tweaking this chart a little again, and see the amount of dribbling, look, successful dribbles in the final third.
This here, in terms of quantity, is well below the average compared to other forwards. And keep in mind that wingers usually dribble more than central strikers and so on. And the success rate of those dribbles in the final third.
So he tries much less than the other forwards in the league. And the few times he does try, he still doesn't pull them off. So, like, he's not a dribbler.
Even so, he makes a lot of passes that lead to shots and creates a lot of goal chances. So this play here is exactly, it perfectly shows what it's all about.
Because like the way I see dribbling when I'm analyzing a player and I'm going to analyze if he's a dribbler or whatever, what's this guy's style? Man, I separate dribbling into two categories. Either the guy dribbles based on explosiveness, pushes the ball forward, and just tries to outrun the defender, or it's all about the body movement, you know?
You can see here, he didn't fake out the guy and took advantage when the defender shifted position. He took advantage of making the defender move and went the other way.
No, man, he went there like, I'm going to burst down the side, you know? Let's see who gets there first. And then he got there first and crossed it. That's how he creates a lot of goal opportunities. But as for dribbling, there won't be much. Just look at this here. Let's separate it into this category of explosive dribbling and dribbling with body feints. Check this out. This is pure burst. This is blatant, especially with that little lift he gives the ball, see? That little lift, in case the guy tries to tackle or puts his foot in front, that lift makes the ball go over his foot. Why? What does he want with that little lift? He knows he's only going to touch the ball again after it comes down and starts rolling on the ground. So he already calculates, I'm only going to touch the ball a few meters ahead, so I'll let it bounce. I won't touch it even when it's in the air, and then I'll touch it. Man, this is blatant. A guy who goes in with force, who dribbles with power, you know? Look, little lift. He ran, got there first, crossed it, and the defense cleared it.
More about his burst. Look at this. He got the ball up front. This guy is going to mark him. Look, pay attention.
When he gets there, look at the little chip he does again. Look, you can see his foot come through. Look. A little lifting the ball to get past this defender here, and then just touching the ball again when it's already rolling on the ground. Here he created a bit of chaos, but the defense managed to clear it. But it's the same thing, the same reasoning. A little lift to get it later, using his burst of speed, created chaos, but it wasn't enough to create a goal-scoring chance. If he tries to rely just on body feints, swaying side to side, changing direction, he doesn't fool anyone. No, look, he receives it up front, and it's one-on-one. He really goes for the one-on-one. Body feints, where are they? Where's the shimmy? Look, he went this way, didn't fool anyone, just gave the ball away, you know? That's exactly it. And then when it's a mix of body feints and bursts, look, check this out. This right here is hips and explosiveness at the same time. See, he comes, gives a little sway, and lets the ball go between his legs. And then what happens? Then it's almost no danger. You get it? When it's body feints and bursts together, then anything can happen. He's actually one of the strikers who gets fouled the least compared to the others in the league he plays in. And the more observant ones have also noticed that the number of shots he takes is well below average. And the number of goal chances he gets is low, because that's what I'm showing, right? He gets to the byline and crosses, gets to the byline and crosses, uses space well, comes back.
So what's behind these below average shot numbers? What my own eye see instead of just the numbers.
What I noticed watching some of his shots is that he can't really adjust his body well enough to make a shot that's truly dangerous. Like here, he controls the ball and he's kind of under pressure. He can't get the ball at the perfect distance for him to shoot, see?
It's too close to his body. And besides being close, it's behind him.
So for him to get leverage with the ball further back and close to his body is really tough. And he ends up with a weak, miss-hit shot. This didn't just happen in this play. Look here, his teammate deflected the ball and he couldn't shoot here, see? This ball here, man, when it's coming in this challenge, the guy, number 19, NICLAS, should already be stepping back and getting his body in position, because you can already kind of guess where the ball is gonna end up, you know? And he's moving forward here. He's closing the space between himself and the defender, so the ball isn't gonna get there with enough time for him to get leverage with his leg. The ball comes right at him, so at the same time he's trying to get out of the way to let it pass. He also wants to get leverage to kick it. The ball hits his knee and then he kicks the air, you know? His own knee knocks the ball away.
Why? Because it was too close to his body. Why was it too close to his body? Because here he was closing the distance to the center back.
No, but come on, you're saying that. But that's because after the play, it's easy to say that. Of course, it's harder to do than to say.
But check out this example here. Look, here's the cross. He's this one right here. Notice that at this moment, when he lowers himself, see how he's lowering and changing direction here? Because he's doing exactly what I said should have been done in the other play.
He's anticipating where the ball is going to be deflected, and this time he manages to get his body positioned pretty well to finish, but not perfectly. He didn't hit the ball well, it was a really tough shot. He hit it poorly, and it went straight to the goalkeeper's hands. But you get that this is something you can anticipate. Look, the guy is going to deflect it, it's going to come more or less this way. Let me stay around here.
Look, it's really coming. I'm going to go for it. I got it wrong. You see? Now, that's it. You can watch a bunch of videos of him on the internet, skills and goals, whatever. But if you see this play here where he beats his man with a body feint,
look, he did a step over, beat the guy with a body feint, position his body just right, and finish well, hit it hard, and put it in the net. You know that this was a good play from him, something he doesn't do very often.
Because of an analysis of his tendencies, not a highlight video.
and I can tell you, based on his characteristics, I'm going to keep a close eye on his development at Inter because he seems to be an important piece for my team in our fantasy game. Yeah, we're building the fantasy game together with the Futebol Maximo community. If you want to check it out, just click on this video here. Thanks. See you.